Samantha, welcome to your past life reading. This is my large past life reading. It's a 15 card reading and I really love doing these readings, so I hope you enjoy. Before we start, I just want to show you the crystals I have on my table. I have my little clear quartz, or my garden quartz as they're called. They have their little symbols inside them. This is for clear thinking. Then we have black tourmaline. This is to keep me grounded and protected as I channel the energies. And finally we have my amethyst flame. And this opens me up psychically, especially with past life readings. I find that this helps me connect with yourself energetically wise, and it helps me bring forth images and explain images that I may see during this reading. Now the two decks that I'm using is the Vintage Wisdom Oracle deck and the Wisdom of the Healing Realms deck. So before we start, I'm just going to ask the cards to connect with yourself. And ask them to tell us about one of your past lives. Really excited today. Yeah. I'm proper jumping around in my hand. Okay, so the first question we ask is, who was you in a past life? And we've got reflection. Now, this tells me instantly that you were female in a past life. It also tells me that you were someone who gave a lot of herself to other people. I can see automatically, I don't want to say the word, but I'm sure you understand what I'm saying when I say you give yourself to people for money. I can see you in a saloon, in a bar, with lots of cowboys around you, lots of drinking, lots of merriment, and it wasn't the greatest job in the world, but you were very independent in that life, and you made a lot of money because you were very, very pretty. I think obviously sometimes you were very sad as well, but okay, it's going to be an interesting one, I can tell. Now the next question is, was you married? And you've got the spiral dance. I think that you was married in this lifetime, but something happened to your husband and you had to defend, you had to go into the only trade that was available to you, and that was being a lady of pleasure. Or not leisure, pleasure for other people. I think that you came from it wasn't, you weren't extremely wealthy, but you were looked after. You had a home over your head, you were a happily married woman, and something happened to him. He got shot and you had to go into this trade to survive. Next question is, was you happy in this past life? And you got love. And automatically, I know instantly that your marriage was a love marriage. You were very, very happy with him. And I think that when he passed away, he broke your heart. You were very broken-hearted, and everything that you thought that was going to happen to you, you thought you were going to have children and be happily ever after, that obviously didn't happen. We've got the spiral dance here. This tells me that you went down a pathway that obviously nobody wants to go down. But you survived, you looked back, you've got reflection here, you look back and you had happy times. So I would say that you was happy in this past life, and maybe your pathway didn't go the way you wanted, but you were happy. Obviously not at all times, but you did find your love in this lifetime. Now the next question is, what work did I do? Now we've already come to this point. I've already told you kind of what person you were. Well, let's see what the cards have to say. And you've got the hungry ghosts. Now this says to me that one of the reasons why you did your job was because you were you were looking for love again. You were looking for your past love. You wanted someone to take care of you. You wanted to find that connection to someone again. And I don't think you did. I think you very much were searching for it until you moved on to your next life. I think that you were lucky in some ways that you did find that connection, and I think that you married at quite a young age, maybe in your early 20s, late teens. I mean, most people in this era, and this is the Western era, what was that, the 18th century? Early 1900s, certainly married young, and I think you married young, and he died. He was obviously a couple of years older than you, and I keep thinking farmer, so you were a farmer's wife or a ranger's wife, and he got shot, possibly by bandits, and then you kind of went on your spiral dance. But you were always looking for that connection with someone else, with your clients, unfortunately. And I think maybe that when you eventually kind of grieved the process, you started looking for love again, and then it kind of built up and you just started making money from it because that was the only option available to you, because you didn't have anything without him. And the next question is, was you an honourable person? And you've got faith. I'd say that you was an honourable person, and your faith was challenged a few times, and even though your job was to do what you did, you still tried to be a faithful woman as possible. You still carried your love in your heart. As far as you were concerned, you were still married to him. You were still a married woman. You were just doing what you needed to do to survive. So in answer to your question, I'd say that you was an honourable person. The next question is, what type of problems, challenges did you deal with? And you've got the Fire Prince. Now, I think the problems and challenges you dealt with was other people. Other people judged you. You've got aggression here. You may have had a few nasty clients, and I think that it's easy to look down on someone when they're going through what you went through, and you were a survivor, and people obviously judged you because of the job that you did, but that was your challenge. That wasn't the person you were. That was circumstances and something you had to do to eat and survive. And it's easy to look from the other side of the fence and judge you and think, oh, filth. But that wasn't just one of your problems. The challenges as well was that you obviously had to deal with very aggressive males, very aggressive clients, not all the time. And I can see that the barman behind the bar did look after his girls, as he called you. But you did have one or two clients that got a bit antsy and they had to be dealt with. And I can see a client being dragged out the back for a beating. But that was something that I think he needed, because he shouldn't treat women that way. So yeah, I think you did have the challenges, but it was more of a challenge over people, the way they judged you, and then it was people that you met through your job. Now the next question is, was you a famous person? And you've got expression. I don't think you were famous in this lifetime. You wanted to be. I think you always, you lived in your mind. You very much wanted to express yourself, and I think that you would have been more famous if your marriage, if your husband had lived, you would have been able to be more creative and express yourself. I could see that you were some kind of artist or maybe a writer, but that kind of, you lived very much in your mind, but you just couldn't do it after he passed away, which is very sad. I'd say that in this lifetime you wasn't a famous person, but you had the potential to be. Next question is, was your health good during this past life? And you've got the Metal King. And I'd say that yes, your health was extremely good. You were very disciplined with it. You very much knew how to take care of yourself. It was other people around you that passed away. It wasn't you. You were very much a strong person. You looked after yourself. You kept yourself very clean. And with people that you thought would be a danger to you, you pushed them away. You were like, no, you called for help if it was needed. In fact, if anything, that's possibly one of the reasons why your partner died, because you kind of stayed behind and was safe, and he went out to deal with it. Now, the next question is, how did you die in this past life? And you've got healing. I can very much see that for this lifetime you lived a lot longer than some people did. To us it might have been quite short, but to you, you were an old and mature woman, and I can see you easily living till late 30s, early 40s, which was brilliant. I think that you caught something from a client, as was the norm, and I think you were trying to heal yourself, taking medicine from the doctor. And I don't think it was what you caught, I think it was what the doctor gave to you at that time that caused the damage. As we know, some of the remedies that they used in those times were very, caused more damage than good. And I think that you went to the wrong doctor and he gave you the wrong supplement. Now, the next question is, in this lifetime, did you have a soulmate? And you've got the Well Watcher. And I very much think that you did meet your soulmate in this lifetime. It was very much the husband that you married. And I think that he moved on early. He did move on too early for you. You would have been quite happy with him for obviously a long time. But I think that you met him at a young age. You were lucky to meet him. And I think you will meet him again. You're both destined to be together. Maybe not in the lifetime after this, or maybe not in this lifetime, but you will meet again. Your soulmate is there. You did meet him and you will meet him again. Now the next question is my present love someone I knew during my past life, or the next person coming into my life? And you've got peace. Now this card doesn't necessarily tell me if the love that's in your life now or in the future is your soulmate. What it does tell me is that you will be content with him, you will be happy with him, or her, as the case may be. And by the looks of it, you will have children together, either a child or children, but you will find peace. And I think That's something that you learnt through this, is you learnt once you got love, you wanted to enjoy it and keep hold of it as much as possible, because you don't know when it's going to go, be taken from you. And I think that's something that you learnt from one of your past lives. But whatever relationship you're in now, or you will be in the future, it will be a peaceful relationship. You will be very content. Now, the next question is, are any of my members of my family from my past lives, or from this past life? And you've got the Ice Queen. And I would say, I was going to say no at first, but then I think that very much your mother is from your past life. And I think that the name says it all, the Ice Queen, and I think that's very much, you have a difficult relationship with her. I think she's very judgmental to you and very judgmental of what you do. And as well as that, I think that she's quite a cold person as well. I think it stems from this past life. She needs to, let go of past life karma and move on from that. But that is her issue, not yours. And through this, we never really picked up on any other family members. So how could someone judge someone for doing what they need to survive and come from that place? I do not know. But she very much is the Ice Queen. So I'd say that your mother was definitely from this past life, and you still very much feel judged by her. The next question is, what do I need to learn from this past life? Gentleness. I think from this past life, you very much need to take the steps that you were happily married. I think that from this past life, you need to make sure that you don't take on the guilt of having to do what you did once you were married. And it was obviously a sacred ceremony for you. It was something that you were dedicated to. And I think that things just happened that, and you survived. And you need to make sure that you don't take that guilt for surviving and letting other people's judgment affect you as well. You wouldn't judge other people for doing what they did, and especially you need to make sure that you don't judge yourself too harshly as well. Have a bit of compassion and gentleness for yourself. The next question is, will you reincarnate after this life? And you've got the Queen of Light. I'd say very much so that you will. And the next lifetime that you go into will very much be a celebration, so you'll be very much a child that was wanted in your next lifetime. It's interesting to see with past life readings how they affect people, how you move on, what does happen. And this one's a learning one for you. I think if we take in what we've talked about here and then we move into here, we can very much see that, you are a peaceful, loving person, and that's what you wanted. You very much need to not let past lives rule how other people see you now, and you need to make sure that you treat yourself with the gentleness that you deserve. You was a gentle woman and you just survived. And then we've got the Queen of Light, and I can very much see that you, from after this lifetime, you will very much move on to the next phase in your life, which is good. Now, overall, I would ask if you had any children, and I've got abundance. So I would say that yes, you did have children. You will have children in this lifetime as well. And I would say that that was possibly one of the many, many reasons that you had to go and do what you did, because you were looking after them. And they were very much, I'd say you had two, and they were very much loved. They were from your partner, and that's why you did what you did. So this is your past life reading. I hope you enjoyed this readings, and yeah, watch as many times as you want. Many blessings. Have a lovely day. Bye home.